Right, cool. Looks like we're up now. Feeling a wee bit under the weather, so a cup of tea here. Drinking that tonight. Hopefully I'll be able to get back to work today. Yeah, feeling like a little bit of crap. But there is some very cool things to show off. I kind of came up with a number of feature ideas. I was building out the text-to-speech system. So as you know, everyone that comes on gets a unique voice. It hooks up all the live chats to everywhere we stream, right? But one effect I wanted to play with was kind of like a TTS chorus. And so I've got my capture card and stuff set up here. We're going to try connecting to some other folk streams, or re-enable moderation for that. And then I'm going to show you what the TTS chorus would work, how it would sound. The kind of idea is to get something that sounds like analogous to like being in a coffee shop or a pub. So you can imagine like it's a big stream. We could connect to it and essentially generate audio feedback of people interacting with that stream. So that's the whole point there. Very exciting. And second to that, not as exciting, but taking a look at the WebRTC internals, did figure out some issues that we're going to debug. Hey Dylan, buddy, how are you doing? Yeah, I got something cool to show you. Give me a second here, get my code environment going. We'll do that on Twitch as well. Appreciate the like. Crap, I forgot to activate the YouTube system. Let me go ahead and do that. Start.
Dylan R says hello.
Cool. Alright, so that might have duplicated, so I'm going to mute this tab. So I coded something pretty cool, Dylan. It's kind of a text-to-speech chorus. I'm still tweaking it. It's not 100% there. But if we find like a big stream, we can connect to someone and demonstrate it there. The whole point is it kind of overlaps the audio a little bit. I'll show you what it sounds like with just some test audio here. So I have to close this, reopen it. And these voices aren't the best sounding. I do good. How are you? Well, I'm a wee bit sick, that's why I'm sitting here drinking bloody tea. It's been a while since I've drank a hot cup of tea. But I do want to show you this. Check this out. So I'm gonna see if I can turn the volume down a wee bit.
Says hi, bro.
Hello, Car Lover. Welcome back, bud. Still studying.
Was waiting for your live stream right now.
Awesome. Yeah, I wasn't sure I was going to get on because I'm feeling a wee bit under the weather. But I want you to demo a quick feature, so check this out real quick.
And then saw you did a live stream. Smiley face.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Make sure you drop a like as well. It just helps us over here. But I'm going to pause this for a second so I can show you something. Alright, it's paused. Okay, so this is called the TTS chorus. The whole point is, say there's like a big streamer and like something crazy happened, we could connect to the live chat and kind of simulate what it would sound like if all those live chats were being read out. So let's just quickly test it. It might sound a little bit chaotic. Turn down the volume a little bit. And then what we'll do is, maybe if someone has a suggestion for a stream we can connect this to see it work in real time. Alright, I'm clicking it.
Hello everyone. Can you check Discord, Mr. Scott? Try using the other webcam mode. That boss is tough. Do a 300 elicit voice reveal when. Don't forget to say. Kynto is a peer-to-peer streaming platform. Each room is a shareable link. Build, stream, hang out, listen to music, host watch parties, enjoy life one moment at a time as a virtual avatar.
Alright, cool. So there's obviously some bad voices in there.
Slightly smiling face.
That we're going to have to filter out. But I had to kind of hack the browser a little bit to get it to create multiple instances of the speech synthesis API. Under the hood here, it's kind of crazy. I'm creating a bunch of iframes and then destroying them and just having them read out the voices and kind of overlapping them. what we're probably going to do here is just work in tuning it a little bit. So it sounds a little bit better.
Which language do you know?
But that's the goal. Dylan R is also our Discord wizard, so Carl, make sure you join over there. Anyways, always like to bring people on. Alright, let's see if we can find a nice little stream to kind of hijack for testing purposes, right? I probably will activate the AI mod for that since we're doing this live and I can't, you know, make it channel banned, but I do want to show you that's working.
Afrikaans English.
I think he means what programming languages possibly. Could be wrong. By the time of night I get language. Let's see what we got here. Oh, we could just even test it with our little stream. Our stream right now. Let me go ahead and actually do that. Because there's enough messages so you guys could hear what it sounds like when it all overlaps. It's kind of chaotic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mute the real system that I use, the production system. We're going to pause that for a second. And then since I'm on local, I get to run my hacked chat. Yeah, check this out. This should all fire you all in. Make sure everything's working. Start.
And then saw you did a live stream. Here ends. What are you working on today?
Alright. So as you can see, the rates that it's reading back is a little bit too fast. I promise I had it working better, but like I was debugging another issue.
I am also a beginner in web development.
So let's switch that around. You guys are testing it out for me. So the rate is the reason why it's reading back too fast.
Cool, I'd love to do full stack.
Setting this outside of here now.
Okay, many months ago did you said web dev?
Reload. Chaos. Let's see, how do I need this again? Dev audio. Break it. How the hell did I break that?
Cool ID love to do full stack.
But if you guys probably haven't seen this before, but this is actually pretty cool. This is unrelated to what I'm building tonight, but it was a little experiment where you could make music. Listen. And you can clone new crystals in the area, and each crystal has a different sound based on its location. Hopefully I'm not blowing anyone's speakers out. So if I put a crystal over here, it should be higher pitched. Let's go see. Oh, it's lower. Put it over here. Pop one right here. Kind of a little experiment with generating notes. I think I used the synth API for that. I'm not sure. Sound is definitely a cool thing to experiment with. What was I trying to do? I feel almost kind of, it's a terrible idea to develop the TTS chorus on live stream just because it sounds really bad until I get it right. Let's see if it works. I can always mute it. Dylan R. Car Lovers asking how many months ago did you start web dev? And yeah, full stack, definitely a good thing to target. Even if you tend to enjoy building things in the front end more and want to focus, I don't know, something cool like 3D or something, you have a better understanding how data moves through the systems. Dylan, don't get in trouble.
Needed to hide phone, sorry.
I used to stay up all night and go to school and like fall asleep in the bloody school bus. Fall asleep during class all day because I was up coding. So, can relate a little bit.
Christian Borrero says hi. I think I've never asked what stack you're using. I'm curious.
Oh, thank you for the question, Christian. So real quick, so what I was demonstrating is I'm building out a TTS chorus. So it's going to allow us to connect to anyone else's live stream and even our own right here and have the voices kind of overlap, like we're in a pub or something, a little experiment. But stack wise, I use React for the UI. So all my UI is done in React. But the layer behind it,
Okay at Dylan R, no problem.
the layer behind it, this is WebGL and Canvas. If you inspect this, it's a Canvas tag. All the avatars, all that sort of stuff is in there.
Would love to know that how many months ago you started web dev.
And then on the back end, I use nodejs, which uses WebSockets and Express to populate this front end. Most things that go through WebSockets. And then we have a WebRTC layer. I do include that in the stack because it's one of the things we actually have to improve and debug. That's how I share my desktop, my camera, and actually compose this stream for everybody. I think that's it right now.
Mart 570 says hello.
Hey Mart, welcome to the chat. How are you tonight? How are you? I can't assume it's night where you're at, but it is for me. Okay, Mark's gonna get muted.
NHRTNH.
It should actually do it automatically. Let's see.
FZ.
So heads up, Mark. We can all hear you and see you. Good, buddy. How are you? Get some coding done. To get the TTS chorus working was interesting. We only have one speech synthesis instance that's shared throughout the entire browser, or at least tab to tab. But on Firefox, we were able to kind of hack it by setting up a new speech synthesis per iframe, and then dynamically creating and destroying those.
What programming language?
Good question, Mark. This is JavaScript. And the layer we're looking at right now is React, but it does use a little bit more than that. Some bugs. Oh, have you guys seen 28 years later? This is a little website they put together to like hype it up. RageLeaks.net. It's interesting.
I like JS.
That's good, Mark. How long have you been coding JS for?
I'm BACK.
You know JS? At Mart 570.
I think we're going to start off light when you guys are chatting over here, which is great. Continue to clear out this giant file that shouldn't be so big. Makes the WebRTC world work.
I'm Leidshi. Would love to know that how many months ago you started web dev at Dylan R. Oh good.
Prob 24 months ago. Not sure.
What are you doing? Oh, 24 months equals 2 years. So you would probably be an expert?
Takes a while to be proficient. You never stop learning.
So you're using the HTML canvas element to render the
No, in school, still learning.
Damn, Mark, you're smart. How did you figure that out? Did you read the video description? You're dancing. It's awesome. Yes, exactly. Power lover. I got into coding this obviously well before I ever understood live streaming. And I just recently found out that, you know, in live chats, it's the exclamation mark that denotes commands. Came up with my own. So I just did an alias. Let's see if the wardrobe tag works.
Where Dory?
Oh, I spelled it. Unforgivable.
Jump.
It should force a
Jump.
lowercase. There you go. Yep, it does make your commands lowercase, so they should still get through. I think Dylan's the only one that knows the secret way to fully control his avatar. I got freedom of movement. Pick up these apples. Carl, I have a question for you. JavaScript's the only language that I know of that uses 3 equal signs as opposed to 2 for comparisons. Why do you think that is? Oh dear.
In YouTube.
I don't think I hooked up Twitch tonight. Let me go ahead and do that. Yes, Carla, but that's
At
exactly what I'm
CodeLoch,
asking.
I didn't got it. You are asking the difference between equals equals and equals equals equals?
Yes.
Can you add disco ball?
Yeah. Well, how should disco ball work? Tell me how it should work and we could do it. There is actually a disco ball item. Populator subs counter, we got 2 new subscribers.
Equals only checks value, but equals checks value and data type as well.
That's a good answer.
At CodeLoch.
I did not know that.
It's like why I want to get you guys thinking. Carl was asking some great questions yesterday. He's like, ask me.
Really? At Dylan R.
Mark, I will add that.
JE sewing new every day.
Yes. I learned something new every day too, and like you guys know I've been doing this for a while.
Having 2-year express. Of.
I'll tell you one thing, this is my opinion, guys. I believe the most intelligent people are the ones that admit their ignorance, because only then are you capable of learning something new without being filled with assumptions. So, to me, admitting you don't know something is a sign of intelligence. It's a sign of a lifelong learner.
Need to go teacher coming to me.
Oh my god. Feel it, Dylan.
CodeLoch, how many years of experience do you have? At what age did you start programming?
Thank you for the question. So, I started getting interested in coding maybe 11 years old, and then 12 is when I actually started figuring out how to get things to, move on the screen. So what's it, I'm 33 today. It's amazing to think about. So 21 years of experience. couldn't tell that if you looked at some of my code, but
Did I answered correct for equals equals and equals 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 difference? At CodeLoch.
yes. And just to confirm that a little bit more, it's a loose equality operator versus strict equality operator. Essentially does what you said. It checks the type as well.
Yes.
Who here is familiar with WebRTC? I've found some gaps in my implementation, that's for sure. Got to import all this stuff. Go build up import.
Okay. Bye.
Hi CodeLoch, can you add a new command time zone? This will read out your time.
That's an interesting point. Can you explain a little bit more? It'd have to be something you populate because YouTube doesn't give me that info in a live chat. We could take a look at the raw object that I do get from YouTube. If that helps. Maybe there is something buried in there, but I think everything's like UTC, if that makes sense. But it would be cool if it, like, you know, even a little flag or something too for country. Right now I'm moving out all my helper functions from our WebRTC implementation, make it easier to debug and essentially rewrite parts of it. I basically have some memory leak issues. You see, over this weekend I gave it a test in the real world and it worked pretty well. I was able to walk around and I brought around avatars with me. No one came on just because of the time that I was on. Weekends are pretty quiet anyway.
Yes, seems interesting.
Yeah, essentially you can stream media without technically, quote technically, using a server to rebroadcast it. You're basically punching a hole to another person, another device, another tab, right through the internet or the LAN. It's really cool technology. I'm not sure why it's not being utilized by more companies. I think it is just complicated to build with, but
like you can set a time zone, plus I can type time zone to show your current time, but time at name at platform will read a set time a cell zone if they set it.
Yeah, definitely do that. You got me thinking about it. You should have some sort of way to populate profile information from the live chat. Would be kind of cool. We could start with just time zone. Because like people might also want to select their voice, you know, in the readouts, the TTS system. So we could use that as kind of a start. I do have support for, you can pass multiple arguments and commands. So we'll be able to set something up for sure. You guys practicing JavaScript on the Discord could actually help me. I'll show you the essentially I split everything up. That like live chat message is essentially a string, right? And then I split that string based on a space.
Have
so
you
have
gone
a
back to
command.
look at your old code from at least 10 years ago?
Oh, it's a great question. Yeah, we could do that now as well, actually. Let's see, where am I on YouTube?
If yes, can you notice the progress, or after some time, does the improvement in code quality become less apparent?
That's a great question. I mean, I have code going back almost to the very beginning, and you can definitely notice a difference then. But I'd say maybe the last 5 or 10 years, like the biggest changes are just there's like new syntax operators in JavaScript that weren't there 10 years ago. There wasn't arrow functions. We didn't have optional chaining or nullish coalescing operators. We didn't have async or await built into the browser back then. You had to use more transpiling. Babel was needed back then when you wanted to use a feature that wasn't part of the browser spec yet. But take a look at this code. Let's see when this is from. So this says 5 years ago, but I actually wrote this maybe 2010. And this is ActionScript free implementation of Kynto. But it's actually surprisingly quite tidy. And some of the organization of this project I'm pretty happy with. And even the way that I built everything to be utilized an event bus, or event pattern, I should say. That's what I use today to develop this system. It's made it really scalable. So it's kind of cool to see that some things are, I've been able to carry with me today. And what's funny for people with a keen eye is ActionScript 3 looks a hell of a lot like TypeScript. ActionScript 3 was kind of a beautiful language, and Adobe did a great job at just laying out like their packages that you'd import. Everything made a lot of sense. Yeah, this was our main game flow right here. Let's see if we can find anything interesting. But even in the last 10 years or so, like I didn't know React, I didn't know Vue. Like there's a lot of framework specific stuff that I've learned. WebGL, I didn't know about that. I didn't know about WebRTC obviously, but I did know about WebSockets. But I knew about WebSockets before they were publicly in browsers. I had to use all sorts of hacks to get that working. But a lot of these like pixel operations, it's all stuff we still have to do today, and even in the canvas tag. But we could do some of this with shaders now, which is a whole other thing. But yeah, I think it was pretty well organized, but not all projects have been like that. I've definitely got, like, PHP is a language that was one of the first things I learned, and I always felt like the code just kind of looked nasty there. There was a time where just object-oriented programming wasn't even really a thing in PHP. Yeah, I appreciate you. So that's cool, but we could definitely find some terrible code, and you could find some gross code even in what I'm coding today. Just because I'm of the opinion, like when I was a kid, I struggled with the problem, like I wouldn't do a feature if I couldn't get it to like look good code-wise, if that makes sense. So I just not code it. Where today as an adult, I've just figured out that's absolutely dumb. Code it, get it working, then go back and refactor it. Like, what you doing? Life's short. Build, get things on screen if you can. I'm not saying you should do that, everywhere. Maybe working with a nuclear power plant, you can't work like that. But when it comes to just building your own projects that you want to learn, I think it's just important to get whatever you're working on screen as fast as you can, as well as you can as well, obviously. Right, so these are all imports. We'll put this in now. Some dependency injection. Like this file right here that handles my WebRTC implementation, not my proudest moment. You'll see a lot of commented out code, which is something I avoid. Some of the things that I got working, I didn't completely understand how. If that makes sense. Like some methods and functions and logic runs on behalf of the person that's essentially the hosts, and then some happen on the client side. But the problem is I'm trying to make all these avatars that all connect to each other peer-to-peer, as well as being connected to a server. So it's kind of like a spider or a mesh network we had to set up here. So in order to debug it, because if you take a look at these logs, not logs, but Chrome has a thing called tab, or what do you call it, like diagnostic thing, WebRTC-internals, and it'll show you all the active connections. I want to show you how many are happening that shouldn't be when I just connect my phone. So this is kind of helpful for me figuring out what the hell is going on. How do I close this? I have to connect on my phone as well. Oh, let's see, looks like I can't even load it yet. I'm still in the process of updating it here. So let me quickly fix these functions and then I'll explain what I'm doing with it. This video track, it's already been declared. Where? Video track on, it's already been declared as well. So just making this easier to debug. My main thing is just remove any unnecessary helper stuff out of here. And we'll go through and literally break it down to the core of what it needs to be there. You can see all these event types belong in an enum as well. I'll probably go ahead and do that. There's a large amount of events that set up all this logic. Say you want to stream video, or you're streaming your desktop, then need events for people to be able to connect to that. Need events to set up like a call session. You can literally click call. When streams terminate, when people send files, if you want to toggle your video, if you want to mute. All of these are all mapped to logic. And then I started coding the ability to kind of do relays. So say I'm sharing my desktop with a camera. Well, since it's peer-to-peer, there's literally a limit of how many people my phone or device can upload to before you're just, you know, there's nothing else to upload. So that's your limit amount of peers you can have. But by bringing some of those people on that receive that video over the peer-to-peer, we could actually have them rebroadcast it as well. So as other people come on, you'd connect to them. So that's what the whole concept of relays was. And I'm going to struggle explaining some of this because I'm still learning how to, you know, best implement it. And I'm just very lucky and grateful that I have access to this right in the browser. No plugins necessary. It's literally just baked into every browser. It's just literally it. Very, very powerful stuff. But we have to figure out how to utilize it properly. Like scalable. I've been using it to host these streams. That's how I share my desktop. That's how I share my cameras. And if you take a look at a stream I did on Sunday, I was out and about in the world. I was able to walk around and, you know, show off the beach and stuff just by connecting to Kynto on my phone. I was able to click start stream over here, which just does a screen capture in OBS and then transmits that out. But the actual transmission of the video and audio from my phone, actually all done through this system. So I want to boost. I want to get the quality up. I want, you know, because there's definitely a memory leak occurring in here. Get all this crap out. Did we lose chat? Appreciate you. Yeah, it feels a little bit complex. Wonder why it stopped reading everyone's comments out. What's going on there? But yeah, I could definitely zoom in a little bit. What else do we have? Folks, I'm just going to go ahead and drop the Discord link as well. I'm building up the Discord channel. And that's hooked up into the TTS system as well. There's a channel right in there. It's just called live stream chat, and you get 0 latency, ability to just interject right into the stream. But the feature I'm most excited about right now isn't even the WebRTC aspects. I already have that, you know, working. It's just not ideal. It's the TTS chorus, so we can have everybody like overlapping voices, make it sound like we're in a coffee shop or something. I think it'd be sick.
I hope to be as good as you someday.
Oh man, you've got the capacity to come way better. You're open to learning, and that's key. And as long as you put that time in, you're sorted. And spend a lot of time on MSDN. Learn your browser, learn what's available. MDN. Use this with the Microsoft's thing, but you know, when I wanted to learn about the canvas tag, I think that came out, I don't know, maybe 2011 or something. We could look at the exact date. Do a lot of cool stuff with that. It should be a fun stream to just go through all my favorite capabilities in the browser. And sometimes we stumble into new ones because you'll see that like some of these reference other APIs, as it were. Let's see, where's search? See, WebRTC, you'll learn about other things that you could do in the browser without even needing to do peer-to-peer stuff. Like if you use get user media, and I've got some cool demos of this where I take my webcam and use that, you know, to map the pixels into tiles on screen, which is kind of cool because then you could have like game maps that are based on what's happening in front of a webcam. Like the idea is like you'd use your hand to like swipe stuff about, throw in some physics. Another thing, you could use get user media with like Google's TensorFlow to extract a face. I have the ability to draw a face in real time from a webcam onto the little pixel avatars as well. Yeah, that way. People were in Kynto and wanted to show facial reactions but didn't want to show whatever else was in the room. They could do that. And just by clicking around here, it's like, oh, what's that? To be true, I think I knew about this first because, like I said, there's lots of other purposes to get a webcam other than transmitting over peer-to-peer. But using this one, get user media, you can pull someone's desktop. You give the ability to share their screen. You can pull webcam, you can pull microphones, and I think that's mainly it. Let's see. And I say you could do all this, you definitely can, but it's, you know, for browsers are pretty strict with permissions when it comes to any of these APIs. So, like, the part you don't see is where I click accept to share, you know, it's built into the browser. So, yeah, navigator.media devices, always fun time. Let's see what else. Look at all this stuff. Oh, that's another one. This is kind of a new spec, the audio output devices API. You can see it's experimental. Part of the reason I want to do that is so in Kynto itself, let's see. Let me show something here. Here it is. Say this tab was outputting audio. Oh, I don't even show it because it's not supported in this browser. That's funny. Never mind. That's another key thing. You want if you use some of these newer APIs that are not available in all browsers, just gracefully fall back. Just don't show that feature. We're Where was I? Too many tabs. But yeah, this would avoid having to use like the system output selection for where you want to write audio, because maybe in Kynto I want to have the TTS come through my headphones, but I have, I don't know, like the video call come out through the phone. So this would let me do that. So that's why I'm digging into that one. And then you can even pull stuff from sensors, battery status. I've never even used this one. Say you're doing something that's intensive on battery use, you could have your app react to that, maybe shut things down or do lower resolution video transfer, might give you some more battery life. Barcode detection API, that's pretty sweet. Use that for building like maybe like a shop, a scanner app for like when you're shopping. Web Bluetooth. That's what I'm saying though, you never stop learning, right? I would want to go into see what's new in sensor APIs. Let's take a look at streams, storage summarizer APIs. Remember, like, learning a programming language is just like kind of analogous to like learning, I don't know, how to read or write in English or Spanish, but it's because you can write in those languages doesn't mean you can like write a good novel or a good sci-fi. All that stuff comes from context, and that's why you need to dig into what that language can do. Like JavaScript in context, the browser has access to all of this stuff, and that's where you get to build your cool apps. And I call them apps because when you're using these APIs, you're not building just a website. You're getting in there. Payment built right in. It's been a while since I've scrolled through just the index of everything that's available in a lot of these browsers. Subtle Crypto, I use that to do encryption. And speech recognition, not incredibly powerful yet, but we'll see what demos they have. The speech synthesis is what I'm working on to do the chorus TTS. That's how you guys are interacting with me. Once I seen this was in the browser, I'm like, oh hell yeah. It was created specifically for accessibility purposes, but hey, we could use it to do TTS. Why not? How do I hide that? That's what I'm talking about by the system permissions. To see it ask for permission. Not happy. Well, it's covering up my desk now. That's unfortunate. Take a quick, deeper look at some of these APIs just because I'm curious now. Get addicted to going through it. May as well do it here. USB interface. I did see that you could even, because when I did the little on-screen music keyboard, which is this thing, which you can actually play with other people. I was like, well, could I hook up my MIDI keyboard in order to have the browser play? And it turns out yes. I even have a MIDI specification. I don't know if it's buried in USB or it was separate, but a whole other world of stuff is the whole VR and AR stuff that's built into the browser. Extremely powerful. And one thing I want to spend some time with is assembly in here. Just, I don't know, compile some C++ or some C down, just see what we can do. Maybe do a pathfinding in C, compile that, and use that for Kynto. So I've ran into some issues with speed when we have thousands of tiles to traverse. So I try and find a reason to jump into all this. Yeah, see, MIDI is just built right into your bloody browser. Most people wouldn't know that. What? Supported on most browsers.
Do you think that with the advances in AI, we programmers might end up like photographers did when smartphones came along?
You'd have to explain a little bit more what you mean by that, but I think it's definitely having a major impact. But I think it makes people that don't know a lot about coding, maybe think they can sit out and do something crazy, which is great. Hopefully they learn from it. But I think the real power for AI in a programmer's hands that like really knows system architecture and knows how to code something is just amplified. Like, it's like the difference between a lawyer using ChatGPT and a layman to, I don't know, get like their traffic ticket dismissed. Who do you think can use ChatGPT better? The lawyer or the layman that's trying to get his traffic ticket dismissed? I think that's like a kind of a visual and like metaphor for what we're seeing in programming. But I kind of fear for people getting into programming with AI, because if you don't, I don't know, I feel like it's a mixed bag. Like it's going to make learning messier, but people that can already like really leverage it, man, it's just it's a boom. Appreciate the like. Let's update our stats tonight. I'm not even been doing that. There we go. What else did I want to look at? Yeah, I just wanted to see what we have available for USB. It's ridiculous. And even like, don't be scared by seeing some of these APIs say experimental in it. Don't be scared to play with it, because even though it's experimental, this one's still in Chrome and Edge. So I don't know, if you wanted to do something cool, you still have that ability. And you could always package Chrome with Electron or something and ship it as a bloody desktop app. Like speech synthesis is widely available now, but when I started messing with it, it wasn't. Let's see full compatibility. Yeah, see, there's a couple that don't have it. WebView in Android doesn't support speech synthesis. That's funny. I think I found a way to get around that. Like, see, when using like WebViews for loading your apps, your hybrid apps on Android, if you see something like this where speech synthesis isn't supported in the WebView itself, all you have to do is have like how I'd handle that is I'd have the Android layer listen to events coming out of that WebView, coming out of Kynto, that are marked TTS message, and then I would just have the native Android text-to-speech system like basically do it. Like, you could also make a phone vibrate sometimes just from the web, but sometimes you need to do it natively. So I just built like a little bridge to let me do that. We're going into gross code now, don't worry about it. Let me search vibrate. Yeah, so if you look at this, when I know that like I'm using an API that may not be supported fully by the web context it's running in, I'll prepend it with like out, meaning this output might need to go somewhere else to get processed, and I'll have my app layers listen for anything that says out, and then the Android app or the iOS app will say, oh, I need to make this app vibrate, here's the pattern, 50, and that makes your phone vibrate. Found that's like immensely powerful for giving web functionality that you don't always have, but you could give it, like if you put it in an additional layer. And I have tons of examples of that. I think you're absolutely right there. Let me see what's going on, why it's not reading out your comments. It should be. I didn't get in trouble from YouTube. Many different tabs of project here. Okay, YouTube, play, and bench. So Christian said, I believe only truly highly talented programmers will remain. Highly creative people will also stay. There won't be room for those who don't understand architecture and simple code. Yeah, agreed. Agreed. I mean, there used to be a time when there was people that only jobs, and maybe this has just happened in the last 5 years, whose only jobs was to create email templates for mass marketing. And I don't know, even like the past 10 years or so, you couldn't get away with using CSS. You'd have to use tables to layout your emails.
Studio says, do you stream on Twitch?
Yeah, great question. I do actually. And you can see my entire screen up there. Same name on Twitch, CodeLoch. And make sure you join the Discord as well, because it posts out notifications with both links. Oh no, what happened? Okay. This is an old component in here.
Still using class components?
Yeah, yeah. If you look at this, some of this code is quite old. I'm all over the place. It's a large project. Some are functional.
We'll switch to Twitch now.
There's a billion things that you could pick on this project for. There's no lack of that.
I'll join Discord now.
Yeah, sounds good, buddy. Appreciate you. Let's bring up an interesting point, though. When you build long-running projects, you're going to have to refactor it, and you're responsible for maintaining it over time. And as you can see, as many layers as this project has, there's even older bits of code. And there's times where classes do make sense. In React, I would avoid them. But classes do make sense for, like, I don't know, organizing plugins. If you create your own little plugin system, you could just not put them in classes. I like using classes to organize static methods. And I think it comes out of the fact that, like, I started with game development first. And classes make sense, at least when it comes to composing entities and stuff. When it comes to actually implementing managers and stuff, maybe not so much. I'm going to take a quick wee break. I'm going to grab a wee drink. Like I said, I took today off at work, so I wonder how much crap I'm in tomorrow. Just didn't feel well. Be right back. one of the things that I've noticed that some people appreciate though is not afraid to show you the code I'm not proud of. And just because of the size of the project and how long I've been working on it, got quite a bit of it. We have to refactor WebRTC implementation, but I'll go ahead and hook up Twitch chat. I know someone just hopped over there.
What's your position at your job? What do you do there? Do you also code, or do you mainly supervise as a senior developer?
Great question. So I have acted as solutions architect, and I kind of acted that position at my current job. Believe it or not, up until the last couple of months, I was moved off of web development onto Switch UI, because I'm more than at home switching languages and working with whatever platform. They had to take advantage of that once they fired everyone that worked on the native apps. Currently, right now, I'm just a senior developer over there. I don't get to work with any of the exciting stuff that I like working with. That's what I use this for here. But it's a stable job, and my manager is well aware of my experience and capabilities. So when something exciting does come up, I'm the first one that gets put on it. But I had an experience in one job where I was hired as a solutions architect, and the CTO specifically is like, well, I don't want you to code. I don't want you writing code. And I'm like, I had severe problems with that, because I'm like, well, then you're just going to get a version of me that's frozen in time, where, like, you know, I'll be able to architect the system that you want, and we'll be able to make use of the team in that. But I think to be a good architect, I should still be coding, even if I'm not the main one doing it. But let's go ahead and hook up Twitch chat. I have to generate a token for that. I actually have to do a little button for this. It's OAuth2, and I think the tokens last long enough that we could persist them. But I've ended up doing it fresh every session here. So let me go off screen and do that, just so we're not missing out on anything over there. The Twitch chat implementation, I'm way happier with it than YouTube, because it's essentially emulating a WebSocket, or it's a WebSocket. I'm not sure how it works under the hood. But we don't have to do any GET requests or anything gross to get that. Alright folks, anyone on Twitch, you're now part of the chat as well. And if you're on Twitch, please make sure to like, subscribe, or whatever you have to do to help us build up more of a presence there. So my local environment is currently broken right now, as you can see, because I'm refactoring the WebRTC implementation. I have to. Once I took a look at WebRTC internals for the project, there's a ton of ghost connections that shouldn't be there. All sorts of crap that was burning up upload, and essentially creating memory leaks. So that's why I'm just in the process of cleaning up that gross code and getting a better understanding of how I got it working in the first place. And then second to that, like I said before, the feature I'm most excited about is just TTS chorus. So we'll be able to connect to other people's streams, capture blips of reactions. Say something crazy happens on like Hassan's chat and Twitch, we'll be able to connect to it and then generate audio of what all the live chat sounds like, because it's like layered over each other. Like people are in a bar shouting over each other. Like that's the kind of the goal there. And I think we'll have the opportunity to maybe make some clips that might get us some attention for the project. So that's definitely a focus.
Twitch_CodeLoch says testing Twitch.
I like how it says CodeLoch instead of CodeLoch. am here, so I think I'll commit just to click finishing what I started over here. And I can always take the laptop to the couch and work on the TTS chorus without driving anyone crazy that's listening to the stream. I had it sounding pretty natural before I went on stream tonight, but I fixed some issues with it. And yeah, when I actually demoed it, it didn't sound amazing. The one favor I will ask anyone listening on YouTube, please just make sure you like and subscribe when you see these videos pop up. like it, so we get more avatars on. Some people are curious how many avatars it takes to, you know, break the system. And I'm connected to live chat, so it's like 1,000 people watching and chatting, and seem to handle it. But there's definitely a number that will, you know, run into the rails somewhere. And I have mechanisms that would automatically remove and destroy avatars based on their activity as well. We've just not had to run into that yet. Very small. I'd love to actually demonstrate connecting to someone's busy stream. So let me go ahead and fix this, I suppose. And I did start working on this at time before. Class functional components were a thing in React, and as part of it as well. And some of the logic that I just implement outside of React, it just made sense. Helpers. Ideally, you want to break your code up into the smallest amount of pieces possible, and in my opinion, just inject your dependencies via properties. And then I would avoid doing what I'm doing here. I think it's a good idea to, you know, make this an object so you can use destructuring. So if you want to add additional properties and stuff like that, you can do that without breaking the function signature. I'll give you an example. So I was using an emoji library in React, and it did the opposite of what I said. It just had 2 arguments, right? One of them was like emoji text, the other one was an object. They released an update that switched the order of emoji text and the object. So everybody's implementation that was depending on that text or that object now got the complete opposite thing of what they were expecting. If all they did was just use a bloody object to pass their arguments, you essentially named arguments, you wouldn't have an issue. That simple. There's just little rules that you could do just to make your life easier. And if you ever plan on, you know, sharing your code with other people, I think is just absolutely required. And if I was going to publish code for other people to use, I would defer to TypeScript for that specifically as well. Specifically for your IntelliSense, and just guard it a little bit. But code that I'm writing for myself, I don't plan on, you know, no one's going to use this as a library. The flexibility that JavaScript's given me is just obscene. You can see my WebRTC implementation. I built like a little ability to record the media, what do you call them, media streams. To record media streams as well. So like every single media stream that I share, you can hit record and it saves a bloody file. I think they use local storage to save it. I don't know. Local storage has limits in size, but when I dug into it, there was additional things you could do to kind of get outside of that. And if you even look at this code right here, it's controlling RDP. One of the little experiments I did was using this project inside of Electron, a library called nodejs, which lets you emulate keyboard and mouse input. So I was able to use my screen sharing, which already existed, and then peer-to-peer text channel to send packets back and forth where the mouse was at if you clicked, if you typed something on your keyboard. So you could essentially control a screen share over the system. So I don't want you to focus so much on just how the code's organized, but what it's doing, because we can always come back and refactor it if there's a feature in there that's worth keeping. I was mounted though, that shouldn't be in there. As I mentioned, this is some of the worst code in the entire system. Sorry, what? Oh crap. We're important from the wrong bloody foot. I'd explain what's in util. Oh, additional stuff? Oh my god. Okay, let's take this over there. Realize that I already created something else. And this is bad, you want to avoid this. Declaration. So it looks like at some point in time, how long ago was this? 16 months ago, so you can see why I forgot. Absolute paths will also save you some issues. Let's just go dump in the rest of these methods that should be reused and see what conflicts exist. This is something you're going to run into as you try and like develop something that's large and happens over like a long period of time. These comments are redundant. Isn't exported. I know that Carlover is learning JavaScript himself, and he thinks that one of the reasons you use arrow functions is just because it's modern. You don't always want to use arrow functions. Sometimes you don't want to bind any of this context, and you're not using it in a kind of a callback scenario, and you're creating like little utils. I don't see any reason to use an arrow function then. I'd be curious if anyone has any insight why it would be bad, in fact. So this is possibly duplicated. Let's see if the logic's the same. Exact same, we'll pop that out. But you can see it's in the middle of refactoring this 16 months ago. I only started streaming on YouTube. I gave a couple of tests. If you look back, like maybe 1 year ago, I did one or two. It's like absolutely no one's seen it. And then 6 months ago, I tried, but it wasn't about like the last 3 months where I've been regular up here. Felt most of this just sitting on my couch. It's the same as well. It does make sense in this case with WebRTC, and just because for the project, when interacting with these media streams, like it's important to know if it's a video as opposed to audio. You could just hard code this everywhere, like have little filters. That's gross. Don't do it. Just make little helper methods. You just have to maintain this. And some people take this even further and break this out into like one function per file, but I think that's a bit much for us right now. So we'll go ahead and delete this. Pop over here. Could resolve most of our issues. We'll see if we, okay, so we're missing 2. Has audio track and has video track. When I first started implementing the WebRTC system, was it 23 months ago, I was debugging it, and it took me a while to even start having a real use for it. Streaming that really made it real use. It's how I share my desktop, it's how I share my cameras, and we're debugging it so we can use it on the road safer. How do I close this one down? And I've found some hard lessons, like when it comes to importing other people's code, it can be dangerous. So you want to learn how it works, and it's nothing crazy. Like there's going to be cases where you're just better off writing your own
Taiwo Mamo
implementation.
says, yay. I thought you're only live on weekends.
Hey, welcome. Good to see you here. No, funnily enough, I don't usually go live on weekends because I found like not many people come on. But yeah, no, good to see you here. I do remember you. How are you doing? Too much. Guys, do make sure you do like the video, just so we could get some more people on here to critique my terrible code to improve it.
Yeah, I'm doing all right.
Yeah, I'm a wee bit sick myself, I'll be honest. I'm sitting here with a cup of tea. Isn't normal for me, but this is the backend implementation of routing all our WebRTC requests, because it's just easier to do with a WebSocket I already have, and then with like the peer-to-peer instances, navigate from there.
When you started programming 20 years ago, what was your preferred text editor? Vim.
Great question. So funny enough, back then, it was bloody Notepad, which was terrible. It wasn't even like it was an option, I just didn't know. And then eventually I found Guinea for Linux, which is kind of just like a Notepad++. But Notepad++ was it for a while. And then before Visual Studio Code came out, I stumbled into WebStorm and PHP Storm. And they were great. Because I used Visual Studio for C#, like for jobs. Like I was hired as a C# developer for 4 or 5 years, and then I seen one day that Visual Studio Code existed, and I'm like, huh? Visual Studios already exist, but no, they just took the editor for C# and all the other Microsoft languages and split it off for web, which was great. I'm spinning in circles here though, looking for what exported, not exporting. But when it comes to CLI editors, my favorite is Nano. There's just way less things to worry about. So that's what I use. And if I have to hop into a server and update something in a config file, I'll jump to Nano. Vim is so powerful that I don't know how to use it, I'll be honest. Everything should be exported, what am I?
Hello.
Hey Mark, welcome back. Oh, that's right, I'm using these more than just in Stream.js, I'm exporting them. Ah, okay, I see the issue here. It's not going to tell us where. Okay, and like I said, we're just working in the guts of the system. I have to refactor like the main app.js. It's still a body class. It's disgusting. I understand. It's huge. It does a lot. Basically, where I set up all my components, majority of these are functional components. But the actual core one itself is not. But it does populate context, which
What are
makes
you
it easy
making?
for... Mark, I'm making the system you're talking to me through. Right now we're just improving our WebRTC implementation. I think I'm going to upload, fix all these paths since we have absolute paths now. See everything I might have broken right there. So we have to restart our server back up. If you look at these logs right here, here ID, this is all the stuff that's required to write requests for WebRTC to work in the first place. We're in the guts of it. If you look at this, these are just the top level plugins that I created. They don't have a room instance. And then each room has like 10 or 20 plugins that make all this stuff work. Try to like build stuff a little bit modular, adapter pattern, all that good stuff. Alright, now we should be able to reload and see what we broke. Alright, this is it. This is what I'm working on improving right here. Let's see how much I broke. Broke quite a bit. Or picking up audio, which is not good. So we broke a couple of things here. Process avatar for stream. Both that look, it's disconnected from the server because it's peer-to-peer. It's still connected.
One new subscriber.
So how are we doing this system? Bad. I think we gained.
I'm panicking, and it's not even my project. Tears of joy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's intense, isn't it? This is the stuff I want to work on, is the TTS panel, but I have to make this easier to debug. What I'm going to do is test this in Chrome. Chrome's a little bit easier to debug sometimes. Get more useful logs. I shall see WebRTC internals populated if it actually creates a connection. Let's see, I'm going to boot it up on my phone, connect to it, and let's see what pops up here. And yeah, it's funny because like once you get something working, it's like kind of a pain to put together. Incentive to pull it all apart is like, I don't know, you really need a reason. Form any connections. Let's see. Oh, that's 'cause we're not in the room.
GE08T says, what tech stack did you use?
Great question. So everything's built in JavaScript. I use React for the user interface. The avatar layer is WebGL and Canvas. And then the server layer is nodejs, but it's also peer-to-peer via WebRTC. That's what we're in the process of pulling apart. So kind of breaking it in a sense, but that's how I do the stream here. So we're not releasing broken code, we're just breaking it locally. It's a cool room. Okay. See my phone guy is darting around the screen. Movement should be done over. Looks like it did break it. Let's see, is anything okay, so the WebRTC connections have still been formed. But you can see there's too many instances here. And I'm still trying to understand the differences in these channels. But essentially, for anyone that connects to the room, we have to create at least one connection to them. They create a connection back to us. And then if someone else joins the room, that like mesh network expands. But that only works for text and like data, like, you know, sending JSON over. But if we want to send video, we essentially have to emulate a call, which is a media stream. So if I click stream on my phone like this, you'll see more pop up on the screen. Let me try it. See if it works. Undefined is not an object. So I broke audio, but you should have seen an additional record pop up right here. Part of the issue is when I terminate the stream, it's not even giving me the ability to hang up, so I broke some stuff here. I'll have to fix it. So to do that, I know what code I moved around, which was a lot. But let's just take a look at our host controller component. It should be this guy. Oh, it's not this guy. God, I didn't even release this. It's like a whole... Oh my god. One thing at a time. Okay. Lost audio. Do these screen records still work? Yeah, download here if that still works. You're just gonna have to debug everything one at a time till I get it all back. You can see that's working. We did lose audio. Oh, you know why? Because I'm importing that elsewhere. Let me see. Yeah, blindly move some stuff around without. Here we go. Oh, we fixed it here. Got fix all these references. You can see there's a large amount of components that compose this project, and we're not even in server.
Does it open source or private?
This is technically, I've not open sourced it, but I do have my GitHub and my profile where you can see like earlier versions of it. Appreciate the question. What's this doing? Here.js. So you can see, yeah, we got a lot of clean on. I realize if it's been commented out that long, it needs to go. Let's look up where we actually search. Okay, this is where we want to be. That container mute button. All right. See what differences might exist between these two implementations. It's possibly the issue. Oh. Reload. Alright folks, I think I'm going to take the laptop to the couch, decide how far I want to continue with this. It's supposed to make it easier to debug, right? It's just a bunch of bloody issues. Thanks for watching everyone. Kind of scared to get some sleep before work, because yeah, don't want to fuck it up. So, we'll see where the day brings us. Alright, I'll be back, I'm sure, with some good news. Thanks everyone. Make sure you join the Discord. I'll just go ahead and drop that again. Great having everybody in one place. Christian, promise we'll reduce some panic in the next stream. Alright? Take it easy everyone. It's just a system to shut down, it's the safest way. So to shut down a stream, I do two things. First, disconnect our YouTube live chat. Boom, done. And then I go up here, connected. You see that it's recording and it's streaming.